1:15 p.m. This is the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation. The news edited by Catherine Pereira and read by Geethanjali Ramanayaka. The headlines. Clearance of debris and devastated parts of ill-fated MV Express Pearl tanker commences. Approval to supply crude oil for the Sapugaskanda oil refinery. The government accuses the relevant officials for not implementing the renewable electricity sources properly. Rural development work on 100,000 program from the budget will commence on Wednesday. Basil Rajapaksa acquitted from Lith distribution case. Foreign news, powers clash at UN Security Council over Russia-Ukraine tensions. News in detail. Clearance of debris and devastated parts of ill-fated MV Express Pearl tanker that confronted with an oceanic disaster has commenced, and the same is scheduled to be completed within 120 days. Following further clarifications in this regard to the matter tabled by the Minister of Justice was considered by the Cabinet of Ministers. A supervisory committee comprising of representatives of the relevant institutions has been appointed under the Director General of Commercial Naval Secretarial in order to supervise the process to make sure that no oceanic pollution is occurred due to the process of removing debris. First installment of compensation has been paid to all the fishermen affected by the devastation. The ban imposed on fishing applicable to the Kaluthara district has totally been lifted. The restrictions applicable to both Colombo and Kampar districts will also be lifted once the process of clearing debris is completed. $3.7 million has been credited to the government as a share of rights claimed by the Fisheries and Oceanic Environment Protection Authority, and discussions are being held with P&I Company for recovering the remaining rights. Necessary steps have been taken to obtain crude oil for the Sapugaskanda oil refinery by July 2022. Arrangements have to be made to procure crude oil required for the next period. An uninvited proposal has been made by the Terranavis Group in Cyprus to supply the crude oil required for the refinery. The proposal made to supply crude oil under the 180-day loan scheme has been evaluated by the Cabinet-appointed Special Standing Procurement Committee, and it's recommended to supply a 450,000-barrel shipment, and accordingly, Cabinet of Ministers approved the proposal made by the Minister of Energy to procure crude oil in accordance with that recommendation. Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathrana says that relevant officials are not implementing the policies of 70% of the required electricity generation through the renewable energy sources. At a Cabinet media briefing to notify the Cabinet decision, he said that an organised group is acting against the implementation of the renewable energy projects. He also said that there is an environment for language freedom at present in the country. He also said that the institutions are looking for missing persons is also implemented actively. This news broadcast comes to you from the Sri Lanka Broadcasting Corporation.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi60 from Sri Lanka Insurance.
$100,000 rural tank development program from the budget of the Gamasamaga Pilisandra program is being implemented in the island. It will be implemented according to the proposal submitted to the budget, aiming to strengthen the production economy in the country. Plans have been made to implement the program covering 336 divisional secretariat divisions in 14,021 Gramanildari divisions. The program will commence on the 3rd of this month. The Colombo High Court today acquitted Minister Basil Rajapaksa and former Director General of Divinaguma Department, Kitsiri Ranawaka, from the 2015 Almanacs or Lith distribution case. The lawsuit was taken up before the High Court Judge Damit Thodawatha this morning. Minister Rajapaksa and Kitsiri Ranawaka were accused of allegedly misappropriating funds from the Divinaguma Department to the tune of 29.4 million rupees to print 5 million almanacs to be used as election propaganda material during the 2015 January presidential election. And that ends local news for now.
The medical insurance plan that begins at the age of 60. Medi 60 from Sri Lanka Insurance. A health insurance plan to honor our most valued elders by the protectors of the nation. We now give our treasured senior citizens access to the very best medical insurance, specially tailored for anyone over 60. What's more, you don't need medical screening to access this policy. And Medi 60 covers a wide range of illnesses. Only from Sri Lanka Insurance. Call 0112 357 357.
The main news story is brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
The Department of Examinations says that all arrangements have been finalized to conduct the GCE Advanced Level Examination for the year 2021. It will be conducted from the 7th of this month to the 5th of next month. 279,141 school candidates will sit for the exam. 66,101 private candidates will also sit for the exam. The Commissioner General of Examinations, LMD Dharmasena, said that 29 centres have been allocated for the COVID-infected students. The examination will be conducted in 2,438 centres. And that was the main news story.
The main news story was brought to you by Siddhalepa Vedamahatmya.
In Watchlight, a long-distance luxury bus service will commence from today from the Makumbura Multi-Model Centre to 25 major cities. Accordingly, the National Transport Commission said it plans to deploy around 72 luxury and semi-luxury buses. The bus service will operate in all parts of the country, including Mullatiu, Akkarepattu, Batiklo, Ambilipitiya and Monragala. The National Transport Commission said the buses will travel along regular roads as well as expressways. And that is Watchlight.
Development News is brought to you by Let's take all out of the coconut tree and make the island thriving and prosperous. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
Construction of a luxury housing complex project comprising of 70 housing units will commence in Delkanda. This project will be implemented by the investors on a pre-selling system without government expenditure. The project is being carried out under the State Ministry of Rural Housing and Construction and Industrial Promotion. The cabinet approval has been received in this regard.
Development News was brought to you by the coconut tree is well grown in almost all the parts of the island. It is an exceptional source of extra income. The shell, the husk and almost all the parts of the coconut tree makes you money, providing you with an excellent extra source of income. It will also help to nourish the economy of the country. You will be guided with all necessary informations regarding the coconut cultivation, with the novel cultivation techniques and all other related and upgraded informations by the Coconut Research Institute, Lunavilla. Call our hotline 1928. WhatsApp 070 400 1928.
In world news, the headlines: powers clash at UN Security Council over Russia-Ukraine tensions. Deadly battles that tipped Myanmar into civil war. UK Prime Minister to visit Ukraine. World news in detail now. There have been angry clashes between Russia and the US envoys at the UN Security Council after the US called a meeting to discuss Moscow's troop build-up on its borders with Ukraine. US Ambassador Linda Thomas-Greenfield said the mobilization was the biggest Europe had seen in decades. Her Russian counterpart accused the US of fomenting hysteria and unacceptable interference in Russia's affairs. The US and the UK have promised further sanctions if Russia invades Ukraine. UK Foreign Secretary Liz Truss said legislation was being prepared which would target a wide range than currently of individuals and businesses close to the Kremlin. Myanmar is seeing increasingly deadly battles between its military and organized groups of armed civilians, new data suggests. Many of those fighting the military are young people who have put their lives on hold since the junta seized power a year ago. The intensity and extent of the violence and the coordination of the opposite attacks point to a change in the conflict from an uprising to a civil war. Violence is now spread across the country, according to data from Conflict Monitoring Group, ACLED or Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says he will visit Ukraine today for talks with President Volodymyr Zelensky amid rising tensions along the country's border with Russia. Johnson is expected to offer aid worth £88 million or about $118 million to help Ukraine reduce its energy dependence on Russia. Britain has been sending troops to Ukraine since 2015 as part of a framework to help it train its armed forces. It has also provided weapons in response to Russia's military build-up along the border. Back to the headlines of the world news. Powers clash at UN Security Council over Russia-Ukraine tensions. Deadly battles that tipped Myanmar into civil war. UK Prime Minister to visit Ukraine. And that ends world news. And moving on to sports news, another two matches of the National Super League tournament, which is organised by the Sri Lanka Cricket Institute, will be held today. Kandy and Galle teams will compete at the Pisara Oval playground. The match between Colombo and Jaffna teams will be played at the SSC grounds. The first qualifying matches of the Asian Sports Festival will be held on the 10th to the 12th of this month at the Colombo Sugatadasa Stadium. Vice Chairman of the Sri Lanka Athletic Association, GLS Pereira, said that a large number of applications have been received. The match will begin at 7 a.m. in the morning. And that was sports news.
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Business News, sponsored by National Savings Bank, the safest place for your money.
The government has paid attention to hand over the power to import regulators and the hose pipes used for gas cylinders only to the relevant gas companies. Measures will also be taken to import high-standard gas cookers. The Ministry of Technology has taken measures to announce the relevant Gazette notification in this regard. And that is Business News.
Business News, sponsored by
Cash through NSP globally and win wonderful gifts locally. Will you be the lucky winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee? 50 gold sovereigns for the top prize winner of the NSP Golden Jubilee. Scooters for the 10 second prize winners. iPhones for the 10 third prize winners. Mountain bikes for the 29 fourth prize winners. From October 1st, 2021 to December 31st, 2022. Remit a minimum of $100 or an equivalent amount in any foreign currency 3 times through NSB U Trust.
Economic news, courtesy of...
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibility. That's why we promise to give you the best returns and guarantee on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
According to the Statistics Department of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, the headline inflation, as measured by the year-on-year change in the Colombo Consumer Price Index, increased to 14.2% in January 2022 from 12.1% in December 2021. Meanwhile, on an annual average basis, the CCPI increased to 6.9% in January 2022 from 6.0% in December 2021, the central bank said in a statement. And that was economic news.
I bought my daughter a laptop for her work by managing my finances. Whatever the expenses may be, I can't afford to miss out on life's special moments like her birthday or our anniversary. So you need to invest to make your family's future flourish.
Saving money isn't easy when you have responsibilities. That's why we promise to give you the best returns on your investment. LOLC Finance Fixed Deposits. Maximize your savings. LOLC Finance PLC, incorporated on the 13th of December 2001, is rated SLA stable by ICRA Lanka Limited and is licensed by the Monetary Board of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka under the Finance Business Act No. 42 of 2011.
In the weather report, the Met Department says that except for a few showers in the Galle, Mathura, Ratnapura and Kalutara districts during the evening, mainly fair weather will prevail over the island. And that is the weather report. And before we conclude this news broadcast, back to the headlines. Clearance of debris and devastated parts of ill-fated MV Express Pearl tanker commences. Approval to supply crude oil for the Sapugaskanda oil refinery. The government accuses the relevant officials for not implementing the renewable electricity sources properly. Rural development work on 100,000 program from the budget will begin on Wednesday. Basil Rajapaksa acquitted from Lith distribution case. Foreign news, powers clash at UN Security Council over Russia-Ukraine tensions. And with that, we end this news broadcast, and with the time reading 1:30, and I hand you back to Sonal this Tuesday. Over to you, Sonal.